The white box turner scraped the glass, desperately blood mixed with mud on his paws. "Follow me, please!" He seemed to be screaming with eyes full of terror. Joao felt his heart pounding. The smell of burning in the air, the great bush hiding terrible secrets. When they finally reached their destination, his hands were shaking when he dialed 190. "My God of heaven," he murmured. But I still didn't know that rescuing this dog meant facing the worst of human nature. The dirt road spits dust on the windshield of Joao Santos' white Corolla, 6 p.m. Sylvester to hide behind the eucalyptus trees. Another day of work on my back. Application driver for 3 years. Since the closure of the metallurgical plant, Joao knew every hole, every curve of this region between Osasco and Carapicuíba. Just another race, and "I am going home," he muttered as he adjusted the rearview mirror. The passenger had went down to his grandfather's farm, leaving this sweet scent in the air. 2 daughters, waiting at home, Marcia, warming up dinner. Life was simple, but it was hers. When he saw the dog, he appeared out of nowhere like a white ghost in the middle of the road. Joao braked suddenly, his heart pounding. The animal did not move from the front. He stood there, looking him straight in the eye through the windshield. "What is catafalque?" Joao rolled down the window. "Get out of there. It becomes a fatigues." But the dog didn't move. He started to bark. It wasn't an aggressive bark. John knew the difference. It was something he had never heard before, a sound that chilled the spine. The animal approached the driver's door. John saw better now, the dirty white fur of the earth. Dark spots that weren't just mud blood. A lot of blood on the legs, on the muzzle, on the belly. "My God!" John murmured. The dog began scratching the door, climbing on the hind legs, supporting the front legs on the window. His eyes! My God! The eyes! John had already seen despair in the mirror when she lost her job on Marchasa face, when Giovanna had pneumonia but never had it. Seen the despair like that, pure, raw, desperate. "Calm down, animal, calm down." John slowly opened the door. The dog didn't try. "Get in the car." Instead, he took a few steps back, still looking at John, and barked again. After, she ran a few meters in the opposite direction and stopped, turning to him. "You want that I follow you?" The animal wagged its tail, more a nervous spasm than a joy. He ran a few more yards and stopped again. John looked at the clock on the dashboard. 6:15 a.m. Marcia was going to come in a moment to ask him where he was. The girls had homework. Wednesday, the day of Giovanna's school meeting, but those eyes. Okay. Well, it'll follow you. John started the car and started walking slowly behind the animal. The dog trotted ahead, looking back a few meters apart to make sure John was still there. The road was getting worse and worse. Deep holes, weeds growing on the sides, garbage thrown in the corners. The smell started after about 500 meters, something burnt. It wasn't a barbecue, no. It was a normal burn. It was a pungent and chemical smell that stuck to the throat. "What is that?" Joao murmured, closing the windows. The dog stopped in front of a trail that Joao hadn't even seen before, a narrow opening between the trees. It was barely enough to pass a car. The animal looked at him, barked once, but softly. Now almost a groan, and entered the path. John hesitated. The mobile phone had weak signal, just a bar. The sun was fading quickly, if he had a problem. At that point I was going to be in the dark. But the dog reappeared on the trail, looking. He, with that expression which never left his head, as if he were saying, Please, you are the only hope." What a birth, John. He was the first to equip himself and set off on the trail. Branches scratched the side of the car. The smell of burning became stronger. Joao had to turn on his headlights. There, inside among the trees, it was almost dark. The dog was always in front. But now he was walking slower, more tense. The ears are lowered. The tail is between the legs. He also felt the danger. After about 200 meters of winding path, they arrived in a clearing. John stopped the car and looked around. Garbage everywhere. Side old tires. Broken sofas, doorless refrigerator, plastic bags, hanging from the branches. A clandestine dump. But it was not only... There were improvised structures, torn mesh fences, chains tied in piles, basins of dirty water. And this smell, my God, this smell, terrible. The dog stopped in front of one of the structures and started whimpering a noise. Low suffering which cut through the soul. John got out of the car slowly in each direction. High alert. The silence was heavy, broken only by the moans of the animal and the animal. With a sound that he took a long time to identify, more moans coming from elsewhere in the clearing. There's more dog here, he murmured to himself. He approached the structure where the white had stopped, a makeshift fence made of chicken wire and pieces of wood. Inside, Zhao felt his stomach turn. 3 puppies in a deplorable state, 2 thin open wounds lying in the clean dirt. One of them couldn't even lift his head when John, approximate, the son of words, went out by himself, looked at others, points at the clearing, no more fences, no more animals, some didn't even move. Or, the smell was not only that of burning, it was that of death, of abandonment, of pure cruelty. Or, Virolata the white who had guided him, approached him and pressed her nose against his leg, a soft touch, as if to thank you for coming, do something now. Zhao took a cell phone in his pocket with shaky hands. A signal bar dialed 190. Hello, police. I found something here. Animal abuse. Lots of animals. Yes, it's very serious. As he passed the place to the attendant, John looked into the eyes of the dog that had brought him there. How many kilometers he had traveled, looking for help. How many people had passed by ignoring their barking. Desperate. You're a hero, man, whispered John, petting the animal's head. You saved them all. The dog shook the cauda for the first time since they met. It was not joy. Still, it was hope. João Santos never considered himself a hero. 42 years old, belly of beer. 3 years of driving for the application after the closure of Vilares. The doors. Born and raised in Vila Madalena, son of a metallurgist, married with Marcia for 15 years. 2 daughters, Giovanna, 12 years old, Amanda, 8 years old, living together of the ordinary worker. But there, in this clearing of hell, something has changed inside. How long do you think it will take to arrive? He asked. 190, unable to take their eyes off the animals in front of him. From 15 to 20 minutes, sir, from what you described. Let us send a vehicle and the protection of contact animals as well. Zhao hung up and looked around. There were at least 15 dogs scattered around the clearing, some on fences. Improvised, others held back by chains that are too short, 2 or 3, cowardly but so weak that they could scarcely stand. The Virolata, White Zhao, had already decided to call him White. He didn't want to leave him, as if he knew that he had finally found someone who was going to do something. Okay, man, it'll try to help. When they don't arrive. Zhao returned to the car and took the bottle of water he was still carrying. Only half a liter, but it was what he had. It started with those who seemed to be in the worst condition. The first was a pastor. Mixed German, lying on a fence, measuring 2 meters by 2 meters. As John approaches, the animal didn't even look up, just opened its eyes, too deeply dehydrated. Also, calm down, buddy, calm down. João unlocked the makeshift fence and slowly entered. Or, the dog did not react. John put water in the palm of his hand and offered it. The animal snorted then. He started licking desperately, slowly, slowly. You'll feel sick if you drink too much fast. But the dog couldn't stop. It was as if he hadn't seen water in days. John had to give small quantities at a time. While tending to the German Shepherd, Bronco approached another fence and began to barking softly. John looked in the direction. A dog appeared to be a pit bull, mixed, lying on her side, her belly swollen. Oh no, murmured John, understanding in the hour. I was pregnant. João finished giving water to the German Shepherd, who could already raise his head, and went to the pregnant dog. She was in a worse situation than the others. Breathing too quickly, tongue. Obvious signs of severe dehydration are visible. Hello, my daughter, hail warrior. The dog opened her eyes when she heard his voice. João felt his heart sink. Her eyes had the same thing in the eyes that she had in the white man's eyes. Mixed hope of despair. Everything will be fine. So do your puppies, I promise. João offered water for her, who drank more cautiously than the German Shepherd, as if the maternal instinct had made her control herself even in the extreme situation. The mobile phone rang. Marcia, hi, my love. "Joao, where are you?" The girls ask, "Is dinner on the table?" John looked around. How? Explain. How to tell his wife that he had stopped his life to save 15 dogs abandoned in a clearing in the middle of nowhere? "Marcia, I found a situation here. Abandoned animals. Already. I called the police, but I have to stay until they arrive." Silence on the other end of the line. "Animals. Dogs love. Many dogs in terrible condition. Not me. I can leave and leave them here." No more silence. John knew that silence. It was Mar who was chasing himself, deciding whether to fight or support. "Okay, but you care. For me, every half hour is Joao Santos. And if it's past 9 o'clock and you don't have it at home, it'll pick you up." Endorsement. "Well, love, I love you too." And Joao speaks, "You do the right thing." John hung up and felt a wave of gratitude. 15 years of marriage and Marcia surprised him again. White barked softly, drawing attention to another clearance. John looked and saw something that made his blood run cold. A dog. The little boy seemed to be a beagle caught in a chain so short that he could hardly lie down. Around him bones, lots of bones. Jalson muttered as he went in the direction of the animal. The closer he got, the clearer the situation became. The beagle was skeletal. The chain had bruised his neck, leaving a nasty wound, and those bones around them were other people's bones. Dogs. What kind of bastard does such a thing? John asked the white that had come. The white man looked at him with an expression that John interpreted as, "You don't know." "You know what? But now you understand why I needed to bring you here." Joao let go of the chain. The animal. He couldn't even stand. Joao took him in his arms. He weighed almost nothing, and he took it near the car away from those damn bones. "Calm down, little one. Just. It was then that he heard the sound of the engine approaching. 2 military police vehicles and an advance guard of animals from Osasco entered the release almost at the same time. John has never been happier to see blue lights and flashing red. A corporal got out of the first car and approached him. "Are you Joao, the one who called?" "This is me." The policeman looked around and whistled low. "Damn. Sorry for the language, but shit, really." 2 other prime ministers. They got out of the vehicles with 3 people from the Animal Protection Service. One of them, a dark-haired woman in her 30s, came directly to talk to Joao. "My name is Fernanda. Animal Protection. Have you discovered it here?" In fact, it was him. "John?" He pointed to the white man. "He brought me here." Fernanda looked at the white virolata. That he still hadn't left Joao. He is the hero of the story. That's the way it is. This guy saved everyone. The team's veterinarian, a young woman named Carla, began to examine the animals. John saw his expression changing as he passed from dog to dog. "Fernanda," she called, "come see it here." The 2 went to the fence where the pregnant dog was. Joao, accompanied by... White stuck on it. "She's in labor," Carla said. "And by the state. I don't know if she can have the puppies on her own. We can take him to the hospital." "Veterinary? We will have to take it." With 6 or 7 other people, the others managed to stay in the temporary shelter. Joao overheard the conversation and felt a twinge in his chest. And the white man? The dog. That he had saved everyone? That he had the courage to ask for help? And this one? "John," he asked, stroking the white man's head. Fernanda looked at the animal, then to Joao. "The patient needs examinations, vaccinations, castration treatment. Complete. But from what I've seen, it's in better condition than the others. Inescapable. Have been abandoned more recently. How long would he stay in the shelter? Depends on. If no one adopts, it could take a long time. Adult pooches have more difficulty finding family." Joao looked into the white man's eyes. Likewise. A look he had seen on the road, but now was something different. Confidence. The animal trusted him. Can I keep it?" The words came out before John had time to think. Fernanda smiled. "Of course you can. In fact, it would be perfect. He has already created connecting with you." Joao took out his mobile phone and called Marcia. "Hi, my love. Look, I need to tell you something. Tell me in the comments where you're looking and take the opportunity to leave your like. Are you crazy, Joao Santos?" Marcia was at the kitchen door, her hands on the The size, that face that Jean knew very well, the face of the best explanation. Be very good, honey, let me explain. Explain what? That you have decided to bring a doghouse without talking to me when we can barely pay the bills. John looked at the white man, who was in the courtyard lying by the kitchen door. The animal seemed to understand that it posed a problem. Ears down, tail motionless. Marcia, have you not seen what I have seen? These animals were dying. And this one, the white, he took me there. He saved them all. And then Joao, we have 2 daughters to raise. Do you want to put one more mouth to feed? Giovanna appeared in the room, still in her school uniform. Father, is it true that... Did you bring a dog? Yes, that's right, my daughter. The girl ran into the yard. John saw out of the window. She slowly approached the white man, speaking softly to him. Or, the dog raised its head, sniffed its hand, and then let it stroke it. Mom, he's handsome, Giovanna, he shouted from the door. And it's hurt. Can we take care of him? Giovanna, come back. Inside, right here now. The girl obeyed, but Jean saw how He looked at the white man before entering, the same look he had seen on the road, pure compassion. Marcia, sit down. Let me tell you what happened. Joao pulled his wife to the sofa and told everything. The road, the desperate dog, the clearing the animals, a terrible state. As he spoke, he saw Marcia's expression change. 15 dogs, she asked when he was done. 1? Some so bad that I don't know whether they will succeed. My God, what kind of people do such a thing? No. I know, love. I don't even want to know. I only know that this one Joao showed the window where White was lying. He was brave enough to ask for help and have me chose. Amanda, the youngest, ran down the stairs. Dad, he said. She had a dog in the garden. Yes, there is, Princess. Can I see it? John looked. Marcia sighed. You can, but don't touch it without your father with you. Amanda ran to backyard. Joao and Marcia accompanied him through the window. The girl approached even slower than its sister, the dog, who seemed too tired. To worry about more news, he let her approach. Hi, puppy. Are you in pain? White looked at the girl, and for the first time since John had met him, he shook his tail. Not much, but enough. Marcia, look at this. Joao has attracted attention. Of his wife, I see. He loves them. Joao, I know it's going to be difficult. I know that we are tight, but that he has nowhere else to go, and after what he did today, he deserves a chance. Marcia. He remained silent, looking at his daughters in the garden. Amanda had sat on the floor, near the white man, speaking softly to him. Giovanna had gone to get a bowl of water. How much does it cost to have a dog? Marcia asked. No. A lot. Feed, vaccinate from time to time. Fernanda from Animal Protection said that they help with the vet when you need it. What if he gets sick? Finding a way he always did. Marcia looked at Joao. 15 years of marriage. I knew when he had made a final decision. Okay, but with a little conditions. Speak first. You will take care of him. The food, the cleanliness, everything. The girls can help, but that's your responsibility. Closed. Second, if we have a serious health problem that we can't afford, it goes back to the shelter. John made a grimace, but you understand? Endorsement. And third, he sleeps in the garden. He doesn't want to... The dog inside. Agreed. Marcia sighed again, but John saw a small smile at the corner of his mouth. Go get things for him then. Food, a small house, and take her to tomorrow. Joao kissed his wife on the forehead. Thank you, my love. Not me. Thank you, too. Let's see how it goes. That night, after the girls went to sleep, Joao stayed in the garden with White. I had bought a good meal at the pet shop, a simple wooden house, 2 bowls. The dog ate slowly, as if he still didn't believe that this food was really for him. Then he drank water and lay down nearby of the new house. What's going on, man? Are you better? White looked at Joao and shook his tail. You saved 15 lives today, you know? 15. The dog bowed his head as if he was trying to understand. I don't know what you went through before you found me, but it's over. Endorsement. Here you will be treated well. Joao caressed the head of the animal. The fur that had been white was still dirty with dirt and blood. Tomorrow I was going to give him a bath, take him to the vet, start from scratch. Do you know which one? Is that your real name? Asked John. Hero, why were you today? Branco, now a hero, leaned his head on Joao's leg and closed his eyes. For the first time in a long time, he was sleeping peacefully. The next day, Joao canceled the morning races and took the hero to the veterinary clinic indicated by the Fernanda. Dr. Ricardo, an experienced veterinarian about 50 years old, examined the animal with care. He is badly fed, but nothing that cannot be solved by good feeding. The vet said, he has a few small wounds that will heal on their own. Generally, given its provenance, it is in good condition. And the age, from what I see, is about 3 years old. 4 years. Still young, he will still have a lot of time ahead of him. Zhao left the clinic with vaccinated hero dewormer and with a food plan. It cost $1, $300 more than he earned in a full day of racing, but it was worth every penny. In back home, she stopped at a pet store and bought a special shampoo. Arrival at house gave the hero his first bath. The transformation has been incredible. According to the dirty water was flowing down the drains, real white fur appeared. John discovered that Hero had a brown spot around his left eye that had previously been hidden by dirt. Look at you, man. Hero wagged his tail, splashing the water in everything. Zhao laughed. It's been a long time since I've laughed like that. When the girls arrived from at school, they almost didn't recognize the dog. Father, is it the same thing? Amanda requested. Yes, that's right, princess. I just needed a shower, Giovanna. He knelt beside the hero and caressed him. You're beautiful, you know, and many brave. As if he understood the compliment, the hero licked the girl's hand. Marcia arrived from work and stopped at the backyard door. Wow, what a difference, right? It is a cute dog. It is, and it seems that it adapts well. Zhao looked at his family. Gathered in the courtyard, everyone caressing the hero. 3 days ago, it was just another app driver coming home after a day's work. Now it was the man who had. He rescued 15 dogs and made a lifelong friend. Sometimes life changes in a second. Sometimes all you need is the courage to follow a desperate dog into a dirt road. 2 weeks after the rescue, Joao woke up to a noise. Stranger in the garden. 5:30 a.m. It's still dark. Hero barked. Slowly but insistently. What's going on, man? John went downstairs in his pajamas, lighting up his outdoor light. Hero stood by the door, ears pricked up, body tense. It wasn't a joke. It was a warning. John walked over and listened. Footsteps in the street. Someone moving the gate of the neighboring house. Dear Mr. Antonio, the pensioner who lived alone. Be quiet, Joao whispered to the hero. Approaching the fence, 2 young men were trying to force the lock on the neighbor's gate, one of them with a crowbar, the other making a watch signal. Zhao felt his heart race. Mr. Antonio was over 70 years old. He was living alone since the death of his wife. If these kids would go in hero. Come here, Zhao called softly. The dog came right away, but remained tense. I looked in the direction of the thieves. Zhao went inside and took his mobile phone. Compound. 190, speak softly so as not to wake up the family. Hello, there are 2 guys trying. Breaking into my neighbor's house. Rua das Flores, 245. Villa Madalena. While passing on the information, John saw through the window that the thieves had managed to open the door. They were entering Mr. Antonio's backyard. John turned off the phone and looked at the hero. And now? The dog was agitated, walking from one side to the other, as if he knew something was wrong, but he didn't know what to do. John made a decision, made it a powerful flashlight, and went into the yard. He directed the light in the direction of the house. Neighbor and shouted, Hey, get out of there! The 2 thieves froze. John continued, screaming, turning on all the lights in the house. The police arrived. Get out! Hero began to bark loudly together as if he understood that it was the 2 of them against the bandits. One of the thieves fled. Immediately, the other hesitated, looking at Mr. Antonio's house, then at Joao. I was young. I was about 16 years old. Go away, boy, before I get off. The boy. Finally, he ran after his companion. Joao stayed in the garden, his heart pounding. Until the car arrives, Hero didn't leave him for a second. Joao Marcia appeared on Rob's doorstep. What was that noise? They tried to burgle your house. Antonio, the hero who noticed him. Marcia looked at the dog in admiration. Are you serious? Are you serious? Without him, the guys would have gone there. The police officer who confirmed the event. They had seen the two children running a few blocks away, but they had not been able to catch him. Luckily, the man was awake. The Prime Minister said, "Actually, it's my dog who is listened to first." The policeman looked at the hero who was sitting next to John. As a bodyguard, good dog, these mongrels have a sharp instinct for these things. After the police left, Mr. Antonio appeared at the door, 72 years old, thin white hair, always well-combed. "João, my boy Conceição called me, said there was noise here." Conceição was the daughter of the Mr. Antonio, who lived in Santo André. That's right, Mr. Antonio. They tried to get into your home. Fortunately, the hero here noticed it. The old man looked at the dog with curiosity. "Is it the one you saved?" "Yes." "You're..." Antonio leaned in slowly, holding out his hand to the hero. The dog snorted. Then he let himself be caressed by the old man. "Good boy. Thank you very much, okay?" As if understanding the thanks, hero wagged his tail. "João, anything. Whatever this dog needs, you tell me. Medicine, veterinary, anything." "No need, Mr. Antonio. Yes, it is. He saved my house. Today, it may have saved my life. That morning, João couldn't take it anymore." Sleep. He stayed in the garden with the hero drinking coffee and thinking about what I had arrived. "You're a really special errant, you man." Hero lay at his feet, but he warns as if he had taken the responsibility of protecting the house and the family. When the girls woke up, John told them what had happened. Giovanna was impressed. "Dad, the hero is like a police dog. More or less that, my daughter." Amanda, always more practical, asked, "Will he get a bone as a gift?" João laughed. "Yes, you will, princess. When?" "The largest bone in the pet store." In the afternoon, after the races, João stopped at the pet's house and bought a big bone for the hero. The dog was in ecstasy, running in the garden with the bone in his mouth, showing it to everyone. "Look at him, Marcia said with a smile. "He is proud. There are reasons to be." John speaks. I was error on the fact that it represented a lot of work, that it was expensive. I was wrong. What for? Because it's not just a dog that we support. It takes care of us too. John looked at his wife. It was rare. Marcia admitting that she was wrong about something. "Thank you for letting him stay. Thank you for bringing..." That night, John was watching television when he felt the hero gets closer. The dog leaned his head on his paw and looked like this. Quiet. "What's going on, man?" Hero looked at him with those expressive eyes. "John, I had the impression that the animal was trying to say something. You feel... I miss the others, don't I? Dogs that stayed in the shelter. As if that were all." Hero sighed. "We can visit them if you wish." Hero wagged his tail. The following Saturday, João took the hero to visit the refuge. Animal protection. Fernanda was happy to see them. How does it adapt? Perfectly. It even saved my neighbor from a robbery last week. Are you serious? Tell me. John told the whole story. Fernanda didn't look surprised. These dogs that have suffered trauma have a particular sensitivity. They know how to recognize danger. They know when someone needs help. And how are the others doing? See, most have recovered well. Fernanda took João and Herois to see the facilities. The shelter was simple but clean and organized. Several dogs in individual kennels, others in bulk in a large yard. When the hero entered the courtyard, some of the dogs ran to him. Jean recognized the German shepherd who had given water on the first day. This one. "Remember yourself?" Fernanda said. Hero greeted the German shepherd as two old friends reunite. They played a little ran together. Then they lie side by side in the shade. And the dog, who was pregnant. "Oh, princess, come on," chest side in a separate area with the puppies. Fernanda took João to a larger kennel where a mixed pit bull was lying with 4 puppies. Suction. Did she manage to have the babies? A. It was difficult, but he succeeded. 4. Healthy. Jean looked at the dog, the princess, and he felt a wave of emotion. On the day of the rescue, he wasn't sure if she would survive. "Hi, girl, do you remember me, princess?" Raised his head and shook tail. He didn't leave the little ones, but he clearly recognized João. "It is committed to stay here until the puppies are weaned. Then we will try to adopt for everyone. Do you think family is for everyone? Most of them do. Especially puppies. Adults are more difficult, but we did it. Zhao spent an hour in the shelter while watching the hero interact with the other dogs. It was obvious that he remembered all those he had bonded with during the time they had spent together in the clearing. On the way back, Hero was quiet in the back seat of the car. Zhao looked in the rearview mirror and saw the dog looked out of the window thoughtfully. Did you regret staying there with them? Hero looked at Zhao in the rearview mirror and wagged his tail once as if to say, no, my place is with you. Endorsement. Okay, man. We go back other times to visit them. At home, Giovanna. I did my homework at the kitchen table. When he saw Hansel and Hero arrive, he ran into the yard. What were they like? His friends, all right? He was happy to see everyone. Father, may I ask a question? Of course, my daughter. Why do you think the hero chose you? On the road, were there other cars passing by? John thought about the question. Era. Something he wondered too. I don't know if he may have seen something in me that I didn't see. What kind of thing? That I was going to help? That I wasn't going to do it. But without doing anything, Giovanna caressed the hero who was lying on her knees. He chose well. So for what? Because you saved them all, and he now has a family. John looked for the girl, then for the hero. Sometimes 12-year-olds see things that adults take years to understand. Hero had gained only one family. I had finished a family that I didn't even know was incomplete. 3 months after the rescue, Joao was going through the best period of his life as a driver. Application. Not that the money improved much, but there was something different. Hero has always followed in the shopping. Your dog is very polite, said Donna Marisa, a lady. 60 years that Zhao took every Tuesday to physiotherapy. Thank you, Miss Marisa. He loves meeting new people. Hero was in the back seat silent, just looking. The movement of the street. He never barked, never disturbed the passengers. It was as if knew he was working. He's always been like that. John looked through the rearview mirror. How can we explain that this hero has learned to be polite because had he taught her not to attract attention? What an abandoned dog learns. How fast can making noise cause problems? He went through a few difficulties before coming to live with me, poor. But now has in a good family, yes. After leaving the owner, Marisa at the clinic, Joao stopped at a gas station to fill up. Hero got out of the car, together as he always did. It was an opportunity for him to stretch his legs and drink water. Jiao turned around and saw Fernanda from Animal Protection approaching. Fernanda? What a coincidence. Hail, Hero, she stroked the dog, who wagged his tail. How are you? Awesome. He became my partner in work. Come with me to all the races. How cool. Look, Zhao, I wanted to talk to you about something. His tone has changed. He has become more serious. That? Something like that? On the case of dogs, the investigation. Zhao finished refueling, and the three men moved away from the station's movement. That research. The police found the person responsible for the abandonment of the animals. Zhao felt butterflies in his stomach. What's the matter? It's complicated. Man is not quite what he is. We expected it. What do you mean? Fernanda looked around as if she wanted to. Of course no one was listening. His name is Rodrigo Ferreira. He works in a veterinary clinic in Alphaville. Veterinary? No, he helps him, but he knows the animals. The police discovered that he had taken stray dogs, pretended to take care of them, and thereafter, I used them to train pit bulls for fighting. John. He felt the world turning. He looked at the hero who was drinking water from a bowl that was... Fernanda had taken him out of the car, dogfighting. The bastard served as sparring to teach pit bulls how to fight. Joao had to rely on the car. The image of the dogs in the clearing has come back in force. Injuries? Deplorable condition. The bones scattered on the ground. My God, it's even worse. The police found evidence that he had been doing this for at least years. Hundreds of animals. And now he has been arrested. He will answer for ill treatment, the exploitation of animals, several things. It will probably take about 3 years for. Joao looked at the hero again. The dog had finished drinking water and was sitting while waiting to continue the working day. Hero knows this. You know the what? That they found the guy. Fernanda looked at the dog. Animals are more intelligent than one imagines. He probably feels that something changed. That night, Joao couldn't concentrate on his work. He only did 3 and returned home early. Marcia immediately understood that there was something error. What happened? Do you look like a face? Joao told what Fernanda had said. Marcia remained silent, processing the information. Dogfighting, she repeated. How disgusting. Yes, Marcia, and to think that the hero does not think it is over. He is here for sure. But what if he remembers it? What if the trauma returned? Marcia looked through the kitchen window. Hero was in the garden with the girls playing ball. Look at him, Joao. Do you see it as a trauma? John followed his wife's gaze. The hero pursued of the ball that Amanda had thrown, tail swinging, tongue sticking out. When he picked up the ball, he ran back and gave it to the girl. No, then, stop tormenting yourself. You have saved him, all of you, and this bastard is prisoner. But John couldn't stop thinking. That night he stayed in the garden with the hero until late, looking at the stars. Man, I wish I could clear that you have been through. Hero was lying next to him, his head resting on his leg. John, but I can't. What I can do is make sure it never goes away. Arrive. As if he understood, Hero sighed and closed his eyes. During the week, the next time, John received an unexpected call. He was the delegate in charge by the case. SENR, João Dr. Marcelo, from the Osasco police station. You have a time to talk? Of course, doctor. This is the case of dogs. That you testify as a witness. Witness? You went? Who discovered the animals, who called the police. Your testimony is important for conviction. John was scheduled to report to the police station the next day. Took the hero with him. Neither. I couldn't go anywhere without him. The chief was a serious man, about 50 years old. Years with the face of someone who had seen it all. Mr. John, the first needs you. He said it the day he found the animals. John. He told everything again. The chief took notes, asked from time to time. Specific details. And is this dog one of those who were saved? Yes, he was the one who took me there. The chief looked at the hero with interest. Interesting. He may have been one of Rodrigo's victims. What do you mean? By wounds he has had due to the conditions, it is possible that he was used as a sparring? Shaw felt his stomach turn again. Doctor, may I make a question? Clear. Why do you think this guy did that? Money or? The chief of police sighed. Money, yes. Dog fights cost a lot of money. SENR. John. High stakes, expensive animals. It's a lucrative business for those who don't have one. Scruple. And he partially confessed. He admitted that he had caught stray dogs, but he said he only gave them to other people. He did not take charge of the fighting. But do you have any proof? Have. Footage. Testimonials from others involved. He was convicted. As he left the police station, Zhao felt strange. On the one hand, I am convinced that the guy was going to pay for what he had done. On the other, revolted that it has taken so long to be discovered. How many dogs like you has the hero hurt? The dog. She looked at him without understanding the question, but noticing the sadness in his voice. That afternoon, John decided to do something he had been thinking about for weeks. He called Fernanda. Fernanda is Joao. I wanted to know something. Like me. Do I help you animal protection guys? How to help? I don't know. I am working. Volunteering, donating, anything. You are already helping Joao by taking good care of the hero. To make our work known, I don't want to do more. From what I knew about, I want to do something. Fernanda stayed in silence for a few seconds. There's one thing you can do. Speech. He has a gift for traumatized animals. The hero is proof of this. He needs people to help him with his rehabilitation. Rehabilitation. Dogs that have been mistreated, that are afraid of people that they don't trust. Sometimes they need someone patient to help them get back to normal. Jean looked at the hero he was sitting in the back seat of the car looking out the window. And you think that do I know how to do this, Joao? You took a traumatized dog and turned it over into a happy, confident, and sociable animal. If it's not detox, I don't know what. All right. When can I start? Next Saturday, there is a gathering of volunteers. You can come and see him. Closed. That night, John, he told his family about his decision to become a volunteer. "That's cool, Dad." Giovanna said, "Can I help you too? When do you get older? Power." "And?" Amanda asked. "You too, Princess." Marcia smiled. "I am proud to you." João Santos. "What for?" "Because you weren't alone in the pets. You've decided to do something." John looked at the assembled family. In the living room, Hero lying in the middle of everyone. 3 months ago, he was only who had stopped to help a dog on the road. Now he was part of something bigger, a network of people who cared about enough to make a difference. And it all started with a mutt who had the courage to ask for help. 6 months as a protection volunteer animal had completely changed João. Every Saturday morning, he and his Hero went at the shelter to help with the rehabilitation of traumatized animals. "João, there's a new case I wanted you to show." Fernanda said one morning in September. "What kind of cases?" "Complex." He arrived yesterday morning. Fernanda took João to a secluded kennel at the back of the shelter. Inside, a brown pit bull was huddled in a corner shaking. "That? Has it happened to him?" "Cockpit." Police dismantled another at ABC and brought in 5 more. "Dogs. This is the worst case." John looked at the animal. Even from a distance, it was possible to see the scars, the badly healed wounds, the terror in the eyes. It is... How long has it been doing this? 3 days. Don't drink water properly. Don't let it... There is no one-size-fits-all approach, and the other 4 too have already been sacrificed. Very serious injuries. The other 2 respond to treatment. John. He felt his stomach tighten. He looked at the Hero who was standing beside him, looking at the pit bull in silence. "What are the chances of him recovering?" "Sincerely, small. Dr. Carla believes he may have neurological damage in addition to the trauma, psychological." "Are you going to make sacrifices?" "Not yet. We want to try a few more days." But if he didn't react, João would stand there watching the bull. It was hard to believe that this terrified animal was of the same breed as the dogs he had seen playing in the park. "Can I try it?" "Try what?" "Work with it." Fernanda made a face of doubt. "João is dangerous. He has already tried to bite 3 people. You can, but you haven't tried to get close to anyone, have you?" "He really defends. Like this." "Fernanda, let me try. If it doesn't work, you do what you think?" "Better." She looked at João, then at the Hero, then at the pit bull in the kennel. "Endorsement." "Good, but cautiously." "And the Hero stays outside." "What for?" "Fighting pit bull. He is trained to attack other dogs. This can be dangerous." John nodded. But Hero seemed to understand the conversation. He approached the kennel and lay down before the door, as if to say, "I will be here waiting. Do you see that?" John pointed to the Hero. "He knows that he can help." João slowly entered the kennel without making any sudden movements. The pit bull. He retracted even more in a corner, grunting softly. "Calm down, man, calm down." Jean sat down on the ground, away from the animal, and stood there without speaking, without moving, simply without moving. "Breathe calmly." 15 minutes later, the bull of the pit stopped grunting. 30. A few minutes later, João began to speak softly. "I know what they did to you." Face. "I know you just want to be left alone." The pit bull looked at him for the first time. "But that's not how it works here. Here no one will hurt you." An hour later, João, he slowly got up and left the kennel. The well had not approached, but he hadn't tried to attack either. "What's going on?" Fernanda requested. He looked at me. "This is a beginning." In the following days, João came back every day after work. Still the same ritual. Enter the kennel. Sit away from the animal, stay there without squeeze. On the 4th day, the pit bull drank water while João was in the niche. On the 6th day, he ate kibble. On the 10th day, it came within 2 meters from where John was sitting. "John, it's amazing," said Dr. Carla. "In 12 years, as a veterinarian, I have never seen such a quick cure in a case like this. It's not the recovery. Still, this is just the beginning, but it's a miracle compared to where he was." John, he looked at the pit bull, which was now in the middle part of the kennel instead of hiding in a corner. "What do you want to call it, "I don't know. We haven't talked about the name yet, Dr. Carla Rio." "Converse." "Yes, when he is ready, we will talk." On the 15th day, the pit bull left João to pet him for the first time. On the 20th day, he came to him when John entered the kennel. On the 25th day, John made a decision. Fernanda, I want to take her to meet the hero. Zhao, I don't know if it's a good idea. He needs to learn how to trust other dogs. And the hero has experience of trauma, Fernanda. He hesitated, but finally agreed. They took the pit bull, which Joao had started to take Bruno for an isolated courtyard. Hero entered on the other side. Both. The dogs looked at each other for a few seconds. Bruno was tense at the time, but didn't growl. Hero, with the wisdom that only traumatized animals have done, so they lie down on the ground and fall silent. He did not approach. He did nothing threatening. 15 minutes later, Bruno lies down in turn. Sock. An hour later, the two were lying 3 meters apart, simply cohesive. Unbelievable, Fernando whispered. In the weeks that followed, Bruno began to interact with the other dogs in the shelter, always under supervision. Cautiously, but on the rise. 2 months after the first attempt, Bruno, he was playing in the yard with 5 other dogs. João Fernanda called an afternoon of November. A family interested in Bruno has appeared. João felt a mixture of joy and sadness. What kind of family? Couple without children, house with a large courtyard? They've had pit bulls before they know how to manage the breed. How about you? Do you think he's ready? I think thanks to you. The day the family came to get Bruno back, João was delighted. The pit bull who arrived trembling with fear. He was now wagging his tail, interacting normally with strangers. Thank you. The new owner, a 40-year-old man, called Carlos, shook hands with the John. Fernanda told him what you had done for him. I didn't do anything too much. Fezes, yes, you have brought him back to life. João looked at Bruno, who felt new family with curiosity. Take good care of him, you can leave him, when the family was. Although with Bruno, João felt empty. The hero noticed it and came to caress. What's going on, man? Another who had a family. The hero shook the coda, as if to say exactly, mission accomplished. That night at home, João told family about Bruno's adoption. It's cool, Dad, said Giovanna, my final happy. Yes, but there is always a void when they leave. Why not you? Do you adopt everyone? Amanda asked. João laughed. Because otherwise our house becomes a refuge. Princess. And what's the problem? Marcia laughs too. Amanda imagines 15 dogs. Run around here, that would be fun. John looked at the hero who was lying in the middle of the room as he always did. You can handle it right, man. Hero shook the tail and came to lie next to him on the sofa. 2 years after the rescue in the clearing, João had saved directly 17 traumatized dogs. Hero had helped in the rehabilitation of all of them, but none had taken the place of the white Virolata that had changed the life of DeSantis family. Because some links are unique. Some dogs come into our lives not only to be saved, but also to teach what it means to truly love unconditionally. And Hero had taught, this is for everyone. It was an ordinary Tuesday in March when John's life almost fell apart again. He was returning from a race in Morumbi when he received a call from Giovanna. Dad, come home quickly. Was it my daughter? Is everyone okay? He is the hero, the father. It is very strange. John. He felt his heart race. It's strange how he can't stand up straight and you drool a lot. Where is your mother? He hasn't come home from work yet. Dad, I am with fear. Calm down, G.I. I am coming. João stepped on the accelerator. 15 minutes. Then he was at home. Found Giovanna in the backyard kneeling next to the hero. Or the dog was lying on his side, panting, his eyes glazed. My God! John knelt beside him. Hey, Eric, man, what's wrong? The animal. He tried to raise his head when he heard Joao's voice, but he couldn't. Something. It was really bad. Gio, pick up the shipping box at the fast deposit. That box? We used the blue one to take him to the vet. While Giovanna ran to get the box, Joao examined the hero more closely. The pupils were dilated, the tongue purple, the body very soft. Poisoning. John murmured, feeling the world turning. He put the hero in the transport box and fled to the veterinary clinic. Giovanna accompanied him, crying softly in the back seat. Dad, is he okay? Yes, it will, my daughter, it's all right. But Jean was not sure of anything. At the clinic drive, Ricardo answered right away. It was enough to look at the hero to understand the gravity. João, When did the symptoms start? I don't know. My daughter, who realized when he was coming home from school. Did he eat something different? Have you left the court? No, he never goes out alone. Dr. Ricardo quickly examined the hero. I am gonna have to do it. Wash your stomach immediately and apply an antidote. Antidote to what? Chumbinho, due to the symptoms, is pellet poisoning. Zhao felt it. The legs wobble, B-flat pistol. Did anyone give him rat poison, or he found it somewhere? But how does he not leave the court? Dr. Ricardo did not answered. He took the hero to the operating room, leaving Joao and Giovanna at the reception. Dad, what are pellets? Giovanna asked, wiping away her tears. Yes, it's poison, my daughter. Someone poisoned the hero on purpose. John was unable to respond. The possibility was terrible. Too much to speak out loud. 2 hours later, Dr. Ricardo left the room. Surgery. What is the matter, doctor? We were able to do the stomach wash for a while. He will have to be hospitalized for at least 2 days, but the chances are good. John. He almost collapsed in relief. Are you sure? Look, Chow, I am not gonna lie. It was for few. 1 more hour and we couldn't reverse it. Can I see it? He can, but he's sedated. He won't recognize you yet. Joao and Giovanna. They entered the room where Hero was lying on a table with an IV on his arm, breathing with the help of machines. Father, it looks so small. Giovanna murmured, this is sedation. Tomorrow he will. To be better. But John was thinking of something else. If that were really the case, someone had given it on purpose, and he had a terrible suspicion of who it could be. When they returned home, Marcia was already there, desperate. How is he? Everything will be fine. But it was the case. Poisoning. How does poisoning work? Joao told what the vet had said. Marcia remained silent, suing her. Joao, you think? I think, and I am going to find out. That night, after the girls had fallen asleep, Jean went out into the backyard to investigate. With a flashlight, he examined every inch of the space. That's where he found it, near the fence that divided the backyard of the fool. In the background, there were remains of sausages on the floor. Small dot sausage. Black mixed race people. Son of a bitch, whispered Joao. The neighbors in the back, a young couple who had moved in 2 months ago. Jean Maul. I knew them, but I remembered hearing complaints about dogs barking too much. John took the remains of the sausage carefully and placed it in a plastic bag. Proof. The next morning to visit his hero at the clinic, John knocked on the door of the neighbors in the back. Who? He replied, a young man of about 25 years old, thin with the face of someone who did not sleep well. Hello, you're Joa, aren't you the dog? This is me. And you are Matthew, look, pretty much. Yesterday we heard the noise given the haste. John felt his blood boil. Matthew J. I found this in my garden. Zhao showed the bag with the remains of the sausage. Do you know what it is? The boy? Pales. I don't. BB, Matthew pistol. Rat poison mixed with sausage thrown over the fence in my garden. Man, I swear to you that my dog almost died because of this. Joao's voice was louder than he had expected. Matthew backed away. Joao, calm down. Calm. Did you try to kill my dog and want me to be calm? A woman appeared behind Mateus. It must be the wife. What is going on? Nothing. Jessica, go back inside. He does not return. Nothing, John said. You two will explain to me why you tried to poison my pet. Jessica looked at her husband, then at Joao. Look, Mr. Joao, we didn't want to injure the dog. What do you mean I didn't want to hurt? That's what we wanted. He stopped barking at dawn. Hero don't bark at dawn. Bark, yes. Matthew said every night 2 or 3 a.m. Joao paused to think. Era. It is true that the hero sometimes barked at dawn, but only when he felt something. Strange thing, like the time he avoided a burglary at Mr. Antonio's house. And you thought the solution was to poison him? We just wanted to give... Surprised, Jessica said, starting to cry. On the internet, it is said that 1 dose only made the animal sick. He did not kill. You have a poison recipe on the internet? John couldn't believe what he was hearing. We're sorry. Matthew tried to speak. You will feel it a lot. First thing, you will pay the vet all. All right. Second thing, you will bring at the police station today, and they will take responsibility for what they did. Police station. Poisoning of... animal is a crime your children can be arrested, Joao. For God's sake of God, Jessica begged. For God's sake, nothing. You tried to kill one innocent animal because it bothered you. Joao turned his back and left, but screamed before entering the house. If you don't go to the police station, today I am going to take this evidence. 2 hours later, Zhao was visiting the hero when she received a call from the police chief. Dear Mr. John, it is Dr. Marcelo. Remember me? The case of abandoned dogs, remember? Yes, doctor. I received a complaint here about your dog being poisoned. Eastruth? Yes, and I have the proof. Those responsible have already presented themselves here. Young couple primary school are really sorry. So what? Well, how your dog didn't die, and they have taken the blame, we can solve it with the payment of a fine and compensation. Doctor, I want them to be prosecuted. I understand your revolt, SENR. Joao Farmhouse. Think about it. The process will take years. It will take work, and in the end, they will do it. They will probably only take community services. John looked at the hero at the clinic table. The dog was still weak, but she had already opened her eyes and recognized him. What type of compensation? Veterinarian's payment plus moral damages a few $. 3,000. And did they agree? Agreed and committed to change neighborhoods. Joe thought for a few seconds. Okay, but I want everything documented. Of course, you can come here to sign the papers. After solving the legal part, Joe, he went home and told Marcia everything. At least they will pay, she said. It's not about money. Marcia, I can't understand how someone does such a thing. People, ignorant Zhao, people who don't understand that animals also feel pain. That's all. Fortunately, the hero is strong. Good thing you arrived on time. 2 days. Then Zhao brought home a hero. The dog was still weak but excited to return to their territory. Giovanna and Amanda had a party to host. They bought a new bone, a softer bed, and even a toy that was noise. Hail, hero. Amanda ran into the garden as soon as she saw Zhao arrive with it. Are you better? Hero slowly wagged his tail. He still didn't have all the energy. And let the girls pet him. Dad is going to stay. Well, asked Giovanna. Yes, you will, my daughter. Dr. Ricardo said he won't have no after effects. What if other neighbors tried to hurt him? John looked around him. I had thought about it too. I am going to install cameras, security, and a higher fence. This will not solve the problem. Marcia said, What do you mean? The problem is not the fence, Jarrell. It's just that there are people who don't. He loves dogs. So what? And if there was always someone complaining about barking, the smell of anything? Zhao felt a tightness in his chest. Marcia was right. Do you think it should be given to another family? Never. It is our. So what's the solution? Marcia looked at the hero, who was drinking water from his bowl. The solution is, we should be more careful and never leave him alone in the backyard when the people don't have it at home. John nodded. I felt that's, in a way, I had failed with the hero. The animal trusted him to protect him, and he almost lost this chance. Now he accompanies me everywhere. John said, Work. I walk wherever I go, and if they don't let me in, then I don't go. That. At night, Joao stayed in the garden with the hero until late. The dog was still recovering from injury, but he had already become the alert and protective animal he had always been. Sorry, man. I am sorry I didn't protect you. Hero looked at him with those expressive eyes and stroked him in his hand with his muzzle as if to say, It was not your fault, and I trust him on you so that you don't let this happen again. Joao caressed the head of the animal and made a silent promise. No one would ever hurt a hero again. Never again would he leave his friend vulnerable. Because certain obligations are, and whoever interferes is playing with fire. 5 years after the rescue in the Gasantos was no longer the same man. At 47 it has become a reference in the rehabilitation of traumatized animals. Hero, now 8 years old, continued, being his inseparable partner. Dad, another one has arrived, Ivana yelled from the door. Joe was in the garden taking care of 3 recovering dogs when an animal protection van stopped in front of the house. Yes, the House of Saints. It had officially become a temporary home for special cases. Fernanda stepped out of the van with an expression Are you serious? Zhao has carried a difficult case. Tougher than the bullies? John, he asked, looking at the pit bull who was playing with Amanda in the garden. Brutes was the last project of the Santos family. Saved from a fight 3 months ago, the animal was almost ready to be adopted. Worse, Fernanda said, much worse. The van left the Dr. Carla carrying a transport box. By the groans that came from. Inside, you could see that there was a very frightened animal. What? Has it happened to him? Asked John. Golden Retriever, female 1-year-old. She was used as a breeder in an underground puppy mill. Joao grimaced. Puppy mill. It was one of the things that revolted him the most. Physical condition malnourished, miscellaneous infections, signs of beatings, but the worst is psychological. Dr. Carla put the shipping box on the floor and opened. Inside, a very thin golden retriever with dull fur shivering fear. Hello, my daughter, John spoke softly. Calm. The dog shrinks even more. At the bottom of the box. She hasn't been gone for 3 days, explained Dr. Carla. Don't eat. He barely drinks water and doesn't let anyone touch it. John looked at the animal and felt the heart sinks. He remembered the hero on the day of the rescue, desperate on the road. He remembered all the dogs that had passed through it in recent years. How would you like to call him? We haven't decided yet. I've been waiting for you. Get to know her first. John knelt down near the box and stood quietly. The golden looked at him suspiciously, but he didn't growl. Hope, John said later. Of a few minutes. Hope. That's because that's what she needs, and that's it. Which she will find here. Fernanda smiled. Hope. So install. Hope in the Santos family has been the biggest challenge Zhao has ever faced. The dog. He didn't leave the transport box, not even to relieve himself. John had to put food and water inside the box. Dad, why doesn't she go? Amanda requested. By the age of 13, she already understood the family's rehabilitation work as she doesn't know yet that she is safe. How long does it take him to understand? I don't know, Princess. Every animal is different. Hero, with the wisdom of his 8 years, positioned himself as the unofficial guardian of hope. I was lying about 2 meters away of its box just to look at. He knows she needs protection, Marcia commented. Marcia, at the age of 42, had been so involved in the work of save as much as the husband. Her house was full of recovering dogs. And she didn't complain anymore. Does he remember what he went through? Said John. The 5th day, the Esperanza came out of the box for the first time just to drink water and running back. On the 10th day, he ate food from the box. On 15 day, she let Zhao pet her for a few seconds. Zhao said Dr. Carla during a visit to routine. It's unbelievable. In other attempts at rehabilitation, he did not react at all. Does she feel safe? How can we be sure, John? He pointed to the hero who was lying near Hope. He teaches, showing that she can trust, and it was true. Zhao realized that this hero deliberately demonstrated safe behavior around Golden. I ate quietly. I played with the girls, interacted with the visitors, as if to say, look, this is how it is here. No one does any harm. A month later, Esperanza was playing in the garden with the other dogs. 2 months later, he was racing when he was coming home from work. 3 months later, he was sleeping on the living room couch with the hero. Dad, can Hope stay forever? Giovanna asked one evening. Giovanna was now 17 years old and dreamed of being a veterinarian. I spent the afternoons there, helping Zhao with the animals. Gee, you know how it works. We rehabilitate. Then they go to a permanent family. But what if his family is us? John looked at the hope that lay between the hero and the bullies on the carpet of the room. We already have 4 dogs here. 5 makes no difference. Marcia. Laugh. Giovanna, if your father adopted all the dogs that passed through here, we would. I needed a farm, and what's the problem? We don't have any money for a farm girl. But John was thinking seriously in the possibility. Esperanza had adapted perfectly to the dynamics of the house. And more. Above all, she had helped other traumatized dogs who arrived after. You know what John said? I am going to talk to Fernanda. In The following Saturday, Joao went to the shelter to talk to Fernanda about the adoption of Hope. Joao, you already have 4 dogs. You don't think you have it. Exaggerate? Fernanda, she became a co-therapist here at home. Helps in the rehabilitation of others. No, what do you mean, traumatized puppies? They feel safer when they interact with us normally, East, as if it validated that the environment is safe. Fernanda thought for a few moments. Seconds. Does it make sense? In the wild, animals observe the behavior of others to find out if a place is safe or dangerous. Correct. And on top of that, the girls are super attached to her. This is good, but on one condition, which you make the house as a temporary home for animal protection. We help with food, veterinarian, and you may receive a monthly stipend. Zhao stayed, astonished. Allocation, Zhao. The work you do is worth a lot. Rehabilitate. Traumatized animals are a specialty, and you are the best I know. How much would it cost? 1,500 per month to help with expenses? Zhou almost didn't. Raw. 500 Brazilian reals per month to do something he was already doing. Out of love closed. When Zhao came home with the news, the family stayed euphoric. Father, does this mean that we can stay with Hope? Amanda requested means. And what will we receive to take care of the dogs? Giovanna also asked. Marcia hugged her husband. I am proud of you, Joao. Saints. What for? Because you have turned a tragedy into a life mission. That night, John stayed in the yard looking at his 5 dogs. Hero, an 8-year-old veteran who started it all. Hope the Goldie doesn't have managed to deliver. Roots the pit bull, a veteran who is now playing with children. Rex, a wandering Hotweiler who arrived last week, and the princess, a mutt who was pregnant when she was rescued and ended up staying after the puppies were adopted. And then? Gally? Is everyone satisfied with the decision? The 5 dogs watched. Hero shook the kata and came to caress it. You knew it was going to work. When he stopped me on the road, didn't he, man? Hero bowed his head while he always did it when John spoke to him. 5 years ago, if someone told me that I was going to become a specialist in traumatized dogs, I was going to laugh. John did caress the hero's head and look at the stars. But you know what? It was the best thing that ever happened to me. Her cell phone rang. It was Fernanda. Zhao is sorry to call late, but an urgent case has arrived. Police dismantled another factory. Puppies. He has 3 dogs that need a temporary home. John looked at the 5 animals in the yard, then at the lighted house where his family watched television. How old are you? 2 puppies and an adult, all in serious condition. Brings tomorrow morning, are you sure? He will have 8 dogs. Fernanda, this home has space in the backyard and lots of love in the heart. Brings they. After hanging up, Joao stayed in the garden for a few more minutes. Hero. She would come and lie down next to him, as she always did when she felt that the owner was considerate. You know, man, sometimes I think, what would our life be like if you hadn't stopped me on this road? Hero looked at him intently. I am, probably. It would continue to be just another application driver. The girls would have grown up without having learned compassion. The Marcia would never have discovered that she loves taking care of animals. Joe scratched his ass of the hero's ear. How about you? You would never have known what it was like to have a family. Hero sighed and leaned her head on Joao's leg. Thank you, man, for having. You chose me that day because you trusted me when you needed help the most. In the backyard of the house, in Vila Madalena, under the stars of Sao Paulo, a 47-year-old man and a man. Kanana, 8 years old, once again sealed the pact that had changed 2 lives for always. A pact of loyalty, love, and determination. A pact that had saved hundreds of other animals. A pact that proved that sometimes destiny comes in the form of a desperate dog on a dirt road asking for help. And what to choose? Stop, choose to help. Choose to love, to turn an ordinary life into a story extraordinary. Thank you for making it this far, but don't leave just yet. On the screen next to it is more. A fascinating story. Click subscribe to the channel and share. I am waiting there.